I am greatly heartened by the news that President Biden has said that he's willing to enter into negotiations and to meet President Putin to discuss a way forward in Ukraine. Putin, for his part, says that Biden and the West would have to accept the new annexed territory. And I think it's interesting that Russia talks about the new territory rather than about taking back territory that was formerly theirs. So, of course, that's not going to happen, but it is a starting point for diplomatic negotiations. It is a starting point. At least people are now, people in high places are now exchanging words. Not necessarily great words, but words nevertheless. And you would think that would be the thing that would knock the Lady Susan Hussey affair off the front pages. It hasn't done. It's extraordinary how this thing is lingering, and sad how it's lingering, of course. I spoke to a person today who's been following my posts, a man called Mark, and he said to me that in his trips, he's a businessman dealing with leather, a very interesting man, and he travels every 2 months, I think, to India. And routinely he's asked where he's from. He explains he's from London, and people routinely ask, well, no, where are you from originally? And they're interested because so many people in India have moved to the cities and their identity is linked to their village. As in my own experience, I know from people asking me questions when I lived in Greece, where are you from originally? Because everybody has an original village. They only work in the city, and they recently moved to the city in most cases. So I think there's a lot of sympathy out there for Lady Susan Hussey, but you know, one's got to remember, in the narrative, she touched Ngozi, and that's not good. That's a very difficult part of the narrative. And equally, this expression of you people. Now, we don't know if that's really what Lady Susan Hussey said. We don't know if indeed Farage is correct that Ngozi had a tape recorder. If she did, maybe it's an accurate recording. If not, you know, people have different memories. People remember things in a different way, as the Queen pointed out. And maybe, you know, the problem with these questions is that they are predicated on a climate of racism, and we only have to look at what Suella Braverman drummed up the other day with her attack on Albanians. We only have to look at that to see how pernicious can these and how quickly can these racist environments, can these xenophobic environments build up. And if somebody is facing this level of suspicion and hostility day after day after day, it doesn't take very much to push a conversation over the edge. And I think Lady Susan Hussey probably was fairly innocent in this situation. But she made mistakes. She was right to resign, absolutely right to resign. I think the palace has behaved appallingly in not contacting Ngozi and trying to see how she is. I think also we need to make sure that Lady Susan Hussey is all right. These are two individuals who have been scarred by being exposed on the front page of the newspapers over something which should have been dealt with quietly. Does it expose a deeper problem? Yes, but it's not a deeper problem, really, of Susan Hussey. It's a deeper problem about the racist environment that has been generated over so many years. And we see it in action in our own parliament, manufactured by our own Foreign Secretary. We see it in action. And that will generate years of problems unless it is dealt with. And Suella Braverman has done nothing to apologise, nothing to explain, and nothing to contextualise what she said. More than that, I've been speaking to some people today who have told me that they have written to their respective MPs about this. And not a single one of those MPs has bothered to reply back, and nearly a month has gone by since Suella Braverman's points, since Suella Braverman talked about an invasion. Nearly a month has gone by. And these people wrote immediately to their MPs, and the MPs have been sitting on their hands. What? What is the job of an MP if it is not to answer the letters from the constituents? What is their job? Because I would like to know. It's the same question I would ask of a minister. What is the job if you don't bother answering the letters that you are sent?